I'm in the process of writing a book about the facts that are the terrorism in Australian government. Australia is not a democracy. It's far from a democracy. This idea that Australia is a just country is a load of bullshit. It's probably the same in America and England, although I've never been to America or England and I don't have any experience in America or England, but I would imagine it's not that much different. We are not, the government is not the Puritans that they pretend to be. They're just as pathetic as Russia, just as sadistic as the Taliban, and just as ruthless as the Irish Republican Army ever were. Only the IRA had the guts to say what they'd done. The Australian government doesn't have the guts to say anything. They just hide behind women these days. They're doing a very good job of putting women in the front to have as their figureheads to lie for them. So basically, as I said before, or as I have said, I've proved that I have illegal implants. I've proved that they've changed my biometric identity, and I've proved that they refuse to allow me to have the illegal implants removed from me, or despite the fact that it's a criminal assault. They refuse to charge the hundreds of people who are involved in these criminal assaults against me. And all these hundreds of people are named in government documents. It's not like they're not identifiable. They're all very identifiable, and they're all very proudly put their names into these illegal documents to criminally defame me. And by the way, despite what lawyers say in New South Wales in their internet websites, defamation is a crime in South Australia. It's a crime punishable by a term of imprisonment. I think it's up to 5 years, 3 or 5 years, something like that. It can be used as a state crime with a federal aspect to get it into criminal law in the court. So you could use defamation and terrorism all in one, considering they've used defamation to block my access to medical repatriation against these illegal implants. So that's defamation, and the federal aspect is the terrorism. And the falsification of Medicare Australia documents, which is under federal law. So I'm a bit of a smart ass. I understand the law. I understand defamation perfectly. In 2018, I completed half of my law degree. I have no intention to finish it. I just wanted to do it and prove that I knew the law, prove to the government that I knew the law, and prove that I knew defamation law. And when we did the defamation law assignment in 2018, I got a perfect score, like high distinction. So I'm a bit of a smart ass. I know what I'm talking about. So if I say something's defamation, you can take that to the bank. It's defamation. I had attempted to file a defamation suit against the Labor Party, the state of New South Wales, the state of South Australia, the Commonwealth of Australia, and about 60 to 70 named respondents who are government public officers, or mostly government public officers, a couple of private physicians, but most of the respondents were physicians, and some from New South Wales, some non-physicians from New South Wales, and every single person that was named has a document associated with them that they have said a specific thing being true, which is actually a criminal defamation, because it was criminal defamation when I was resident in South Australia. So they've got I've got all the documents on them. I tried to file in January 2022. The registrar in Sydney refused to let me file, and I wanted it heard in the Canberra ACT registry, but the registrar in Sydney said no, I couldn't do it, and they lied why they said I couldn't do it. They said it was something to do with an affidavit, and I hadn't filed an affidavit, and there was no requirement to file an affidavit. I filed my claim and the schedule, which shows the documents in part of the defamation documents. And so when it comes to defamation, so the thing is, the problem is the government won't let me file it because they know I've got a rock solid case against them and I can win without a lawyer. I don't need a lawyer to win, because when they say something is a fact, when they put in their documents to say Jeanette Francis or Jeanette Hall, they said, because I was Hall before, up until 2009, when they say Jeanette is schizophrenic, delusional, she has these personality disorders, they have to prove it. They've got nothing to prove it. When they say Jeanette made a false accusation about a 1999 minister in New South Wales Parliament, falsely accusing him of sexual assault, was the words. Well, they've got to prove that I'd said that or I'd made that claim to police. And when they put in their records, Jeanette falsely accused a psychiatrist of sexually assaulting her. Well, they have to prove this. They have to prove it in documents. They can't say it's fucking hearsay. But that's exactly what they've done. So when they've made these claims and said that I've said XYZ, it's them that have to prove I said XYZ. I don't have to prove I didn't say it. They have to prove I said it. And that's why they won't let me in court, because they know they can't prove it. They can't prove a bloody thing. So that's the problem with Australia. Australia's run by a pack of fucking liars. There's not a single decent, honourable person amongst them. The word honourable about ministers in Parliament or about members of Parliament, it's a noun, it's not a verb. There's certainly no honourableness about any one of them, not even one. Not even the ones that are doing their very best to be honourable. They're not honourable because here we are, we've still got this shit going on. There's no, they haven't made any difference. Anyone that's in Parliament now, sorry about that, anyone that's in Parliament now has not made any difference. Not a single skerrick difference. We've still got homelessness. We've still got child sexual assault. We've still got women being assaulted in the street. We've still got young people being killed in custody in the prisons. You know, all this shit, it's still happening. And what's happening? The politicians' pay is going up and up and up and up. And now we've got this fucking referendum for bullshit. Referendum's not going to make any difference. This country's up the shit. This is Weight Watchers Australia website. How much should I weigh for my height? So here I am. There's the healthy weight range, height without shoes. So I'm 166. There's 166. I'll try and make it bigger. 166. I should be 55 to 69. I'm 70 exactly. So I'm not what you would call fat. I am reasonably proportioned. I could be thinner, but if I was much thinner, I'd be very unhealthy because I've got all these implants that I'm carrying around with me. And I'll show you my gut, how big it is for my correct height and weight because of the illegal implants. And so here's my scales. You can see it's on the correct 0 point. I'll stand on it. Put this between my knees. See if I can juggle well. There's both my hands. Oh, this is not easy to do. Okay, so that's me on it. Oh, just getting fucking herniation in my ribs. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. You can see I'm 70. I'm 166 tall. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. So I'm correct weight for height. I'm not a drinker. You can see I've got this big gut that I look like I'm pregnant. And that's like that because it's the silicone fillers. This is relaxed, push it out, and that's sucked in as far as I can. There's silicone fillers here. That's like breast implants, both of them. Here's my breast here. This is under my breast. They put silicone fillers here and they've put silicone in here. And I know it's silicone because it's cold. It's really, really cold to touch. And when it sort of sits with the ambient temperature, it's sort of winter, so it's really sort of cold. And when it gets hot, it heats right up. So, and then I sweat like anything. There's silicone fillers in my back here. It's all silicone. It's all fucking silicone. It's all cold. If I had a thermometer, I could show you. It's all silicone. There's a legal implant around my left kidney. They did that when they inserted in 1991. This is all silicone. Cold. It's all cold. Dead cold. It's all silicone. I've never been over 55 kilos until I realised about 10 years ago that I was malnourished, so I had to put weight on. It's all silicone fillers. I'll see if I can get the right angle. I'm squatting here. It's my right arm. You see that looks like muscle? You can see it's not muscle. It's silicone filler. It's probably in a pocket like a breast. It's one on both arms. It's my left arm. Try and make a fist. And there it is. It's supposed to be muscle. It's not muscle. Silicone fillers. And there's the holes. You can see the scars on my arms where it's gone in. Here, my left arm, I'm right-handed. So there's a lump there. It's very painful. It's all silicone filler. It's all silicone filler. So all silicone filler. I've got muscles clenched. That's silicone filler. All of it there. I'm a normal weight for height. They've put silicone in my finger here. All my fingers, so I can't wear rings. All my fingers are about a size 11. Men's size. I can't wear any of my rings. That's rock hard in there. Causes a lot of pain. They've all got silicone fillers in them. All of them. The back of my shoulders, because it's causing me a lot of pain to do anything. But you'll see the lump here. That's silicone filler in there. And every time I use my muscles, it crushes against the implant. There's a hard implant in there. Whatever it is, it's hard and it crushes against there. It causes a whole lot of pain, a lot of pain in both sides there on my shoulders. I'm doing this all alone, so it's not easy for me to see. Here is a pocket of silicone in here over my cheekbone. I should be able to feel my cheekbone. You can see when I squeeze it, it'll stay up for a little bit because it's starting to get hard. That's because, probably half because my skin's 67 years old. But that's a silicone pocket there. And that's when they injected in my face. They must have put a pocket there. That's all I can imagine because it stayed there. And all the rest that was here, it's just stretched the skin because they had this all puffed out here. And that's migrated. That's why the skin's all wrinkly there. It looks like I've been an alcoholic. But I hardly drink at all, like anything, and I don't take substance abuse. But you can see there's some silicone still there in the skin, and the skin's sagged drastically because I'm 67 years old. But most of it's migrated down under my chin, and it herniates underneath my bottom jawbone when I yawn, and the muscles in here. It herniates through here everywhere when I yawn, so I've got to be really careful. And they've also, because I should have a slightly upturned chin, they've also injected something hard in here, like a pocket or something, and it's pushed my chin down. My chin, when I smile, it used to point, but normally like this, it should be upturned. And they've put like silicone fillers in there to give me a witch look. It's give me a really long chin. They've given me a real big bulb on the end of my nose, so I look like I've got a fucking clown's nose. They've put silicone in my forehead up here and altered all this here. I don't know if you can see that divot there. That's where they've performed surgery in my head. That's part of the surgery on my head. and there's scars. If I shaved my head, you'd see the scars in my scalp here, right here. I woke one day in 1997. I was bleeding from the top of my head and bleeding from the nose, and that's when they inserted in the right side between the top of the palate, like the roof of my mouth, and between the nostril. They inserted a cable in through there that went down, that goes down into my throat and goes to the implant that's in my abdomen, and that's evidently was hooked up to whatever they've put in my forehead. There's a cable goes over my nose here, it obviously goes up to my head up here somewhere. So they've threaded around the place, and there's cables around the back of my head. There's cables everywhere, and to cover up the cables, they've put silicone in, and to alter my appearance so I looked like the 1984 Leanne Walters in the newspaper, they've put the silicone in my face and altered me. I should have a divot in my face, and I have protruding bottom jaws here, and high cheekbones here, and that should be a divot in between. But like I said, you can see with the light above, you can see that there's the pocket over my cheekbones, and like I should feel my bone underneath there, whereas I can't. There it is, right under there, but there's silicone all over it. So that's that part. Next part, I've got to flash my shoulder and show the illegal. Oh, just trot on. Oh, just knelt on the cable that's above my kneecap. It's like, you heard of pea torture? They'd make people kneel on peas. Well, they've got a cable over both my kneecaps. So between my skin and my kneecap. So when I kneel down in the wrong position, I'm crushing the cable between my skin and the ground. That's what they've done on my legs. There's implants in the back of my, I don't know if I can see that there. Might have to relocate. I can't see it at all. Might have to go this side. Brighter. That does. Okay. This is just show the implant in the back of in the back here behind my shoulder. So it's when I use my muscles like to lift, it crushes against the implant that's in the back there. It's on both sides. There's something hard in there. You can see the bulge. It's not a knotted muscle. It's because there's an implant in the fucking muscle. They've put something in the muscle, literally. And so when I use my muscles to lift up, it crushes against the implant. The muscles crush against the implant, causes me a lot of pain, and you can see the swelling. In the last couple of days, I've been doing some manual labour, and you can see that it's swollen because it keeps bashing against his implant. The muscles keep bashing against his implant and causing a lot of pain. It just aches. It's just hurts. Like I've been lifting things up and my arms should ache because I've been using my muscles. But instead, what aches is here where the implant is, and here where there's more implant here across the that's my collarbone. It hurts across there. So instead of my arm muscles hurting, it hurts here and across the back. And that's obviously where the implants are, causing pain in the muscles. I'll move on to the legs. Okay, so like I said, I'm correct weight for height. And this is what the silicone's done to my legs. This is my knees here, the top of my legs up here. You can see they've put silicone up here. Here, it's all full of silicone there. All silicone. I can't grab that on that side. It's all silicone, right? All of it's silicone in there. That's all silicone. And that's very, very, very painful to walk here and very painful to walk here. It seems like I was laying on my right side and they've put the implants in on these sides, on both legs. There's cables over my knees. It's very painful to kneel on my knees. Both knees, there's cables. There's cables across here. There's cables all through in here, as well as the silicone. And you can feel the silicone's gone hard. You can see the state of my legs. Like, I mean, you expect a certain amount when you age, but not like this because it's silicone. It's all frigging silicone, right? All silicone. I'm correct weight for height. I shouldn't be able to do that. Like, nobody should be able to do that. This is all silicone here, right? Over here, I've got cable over my knee here, over my shin. There's cable there. You've seen the cable in the video up there. So there's cable all through my legs, and there's put silicone in my toes even. So when I walk on my skin because they're so fat, and because the silicone's obviously gone down. I think they tried to give me cankles, and it's gone down into my feet because it hasn't taken. Because I've always had very, very thin ankles, thin wrists, right? I can wrap my fingers around my wrists. I've very thin wrists, very thin ankles. I think they tried to give me fat ankles and fat wrists, and that's why it's gone to the fingers and hands. So I've got silicone everywhere, and it's very painful, and you'll see, like at the back of the legs, it looks like a baker's cyst. It's all silicone in there. That's all silicone. There's a lot of silicone at the back there. And I'm the same. I can't twist around the other way. There's a whole pile of silicone there. It looks like a baker's cyst, but it's not. It's silicone. It's all silicone everywhere. I shouldn't be able to pull that up. I'm correct. You're sure you get a bit of amount on your knees? Yeah. But I never used to, not me, because that's not how I'm supposed to be. It's stretched because of the silicone. Okay, so this is showing the silicone fillers in my face. You'll see my shoulder is my Caucasian skin. You'll see there's a white sheet of paper or envelope behind me. And you'll see my face looks yellowish. I have no makeup on, none. That's the silicone fillers in my face making me look yellow. I'll just have my glasses off. I won't be able to see, but you'll be able to see. Hang on, gotta put that down. Okay. You can see the difference. Further away, you can see it. My shoulder starts to look darker, but it still doesn't look orangey colour. Okay, that's silicone fillers. I had my local physician I used to see, Wendy Strawn, same name as my mother's maiden name. She died recently, but before she died, she tried to convince me that I was eating too much pumpkin. That's why my skin was yellow. She just wasn't obviously understanding. Although she noticed it when she touched me to listen to my heart, she noticed my skin was cold, and she'd say, "Oh, you're cold," and I'm like, "You're not listening, Wendy." But anyway, I'll stop. I just want to show you my stomach. I'll put my glasses back on. I'm going to be cutting all this out. Okay, so we all know when we lay down, we're at our thinnest. So the gravity takes over. So there's my belly laying down. You can still see it's bulged. I'm on the ground. I've got a tea towel over my underpants, so you can't see my bum. There's me trying to suck in, and you can still see the bulge there. And I'll work up a little bit, and I don't know if you can see where I am. There's a big lump there. See the big lump behind my belly button? I don't know if you can see that. There it is. That's the pocket of silicone. Just below my belly button. Right there. That's, okay, I haven't got 3 hands. Okay? So, you know what they say, the uglier someone is, the less likely people are to help them. I think this possibly may have been part of the grand plan with this family who criminally assaulted me, this police family who criminally assaulted me. Like, we're not talking about regular people. We're talking about a police family, a family of police officers who criminally assaulted me. Okay? So with their surgical rape, I'm trying to get the best lighting. With the surgical rape, like I said, they've put fillers in like everywhere. Like, they've changed everything. As I've said, they've literally altered every biometric feature on my face. But not only that, they've created physical disability. Specifically with my lips, they've put fillers in it to make my top lip poke out further than it should. That's why my mouth looks funny when I talk. And they've also put cables in the top and bottom of the lips, which have given this drawstring effect. That's from the cables. They've pulled, I've showed on other videos the cables. And like I said, they've put something in the nose. So I'll take the glasses off. I won't be able to see that much. But what they've done is, like, my nose has gone in there now. It's collapsed. My nose didn't go like that. It was like a regular nose, like everyone's. It was flat on the outside. And now I've got the big bulb on the edge. Like when I used to flare my nostrils, they would go out like that. But now they're flared all the time. There's no difference. They're always flared. And what they've done is, get the light here if I can get up there. You can see that's my nose is collapsed on the inside. So that's the side of my nose is collapsed on the inside. So that makes it hard to breathe because all that's come down and it's taking up the hole that I'm supposed to be able to breathe from. I've gone to ear, nose and throat specialists and they just laugh at me and refuse to do anything. These are specialists in Adelaide. That's specifically, what's her name? Hashita Pant was the last one in 2012. And before that was Paul Varley in North Adelaide. And they both refused to sort of do anything with the illegal implants in my ear and the illegal implants in my nose, which makes it hard to breathe. This is the sort of shit I've got to deal with. Because those people obviously are taking bribes from this police family, and the police family turned into the politicians in government because it was in the best interest of the Labor Party to lie about this Milpera shootings in 1984. And so because this police family involved me by stealing my identity in 1989 as this fake murder victim, the politicians got on board, and so it became in their best interest to go along with the bullshit. And then as time by, obviously the politicians have an endless purse because they've got the taxpayer funds. They bribe the physicians, and the physicians all come to the party. And of course, in the back of it all, as always, are the Freemasons. They hide behind women. They'll put a woman forward. So if there's a woman that's mouthing off, you can bet your bottom dollar there's a pack of Freemasons behind her egging her on. Okay? That's one thing to keep in mind. Is it on? Yep. Okay, so you've seen my weight. I'm correct weight for height. Okay, I've got my underpants leaning up there. You can see all that. That's not fat. That's silicone. I'm full of silicone. And here, at the top of my legs here, it's very, very painful. Whatever it's sitting on there, it's causing me pain to walk. So you see the big bulge there? I look like that Mr. Puffy in the Ghostbusters, that Marshmallow Man. In there, whatever it is, you can feel all the lumps from the silicone's gone hard. Whatever's in there, apart from the silicone, is crushing against muscles and or nerves. When I walk, I feel it's so much pain. I feel it collapsing. And then there's the silicone in the top of, you can see it's all fucking silicone. right? You can see it. I'm correct weight for height. I couldn't possibly have that much fat on me. It's silicone. And like I said, that's really, I don't know if you can actually see that. This is my crutch, right? That's my fanny there. That's the front of me. It's not my ass, that's my front. My ass is over there. It looks disgusting because I'm full of silicone and it's going down with gravity, so it's getting lower and lower and lower and it's pulling my stomach down. Fucking cunts.